The views, comments, and opinions of the following program do not necessarily reflect those of Morris Media Studios, MorrisMediaLive.com, or its affiliates. Listener discretion is advised.
And welcome to our Hidden Treasure Moments podcast. Now, this podcast is always about giving extraordinary people, giving them a voice so that you don't just hear what politicians are doing, but you hear what everyday hardworking people in our community are doing. And this morning I have the beautiful, the lovely, the talented, the very smart Melinda Seward Muganzo.
Okay, all right.
I got it?
All right, there we go.
Very good, very good. And a little bit about Melinda. She has been in education for 25 years.
Well, in human resource management and the people world.
For 25 years.
Yes.
And she's a motivational speaker. You're also on the path to getting your doctorate.
Yes, that's my mission. Yes.
Yes. And she is doing huge things. I think your last career was at Loma Linda.
Correct.
And you were doing...
I was in human resources for 15 years. Wow. So I rose in different leadership roles. I started off as a trainer, and then I was coordinator of training and orientation. Then I became manager of employment, and then I managed a business internship and management, the residency program for students.
Wow.
Yes.
And now we were saying, we talked a little bit before we came. So I actually met Melinda at Toastmasters.
Yay!
And Toastmasters is a pretty amazing program. It's very inexpensive, and
Correct.
It works from whether you're a beginning speaker, speaking at work, talking in front of your peers, all the way up to professional, getting paid.
That's it.
$6-7
Get that money.
to do it. And so I love it. I think it's so helpful. It introduces like-minded people.
Correct.
And so
Correct.
that's another thing that you're involved very heavily in.
Right.
And so if you would just kind of tell the listeners, the viewers, a little bit more about yourself.
Okay, I'm Melinda Seward Muganzo. I'm married now. Shepherd is the world knows me as Melinda Seward Muganzo.
Okay.
And in my career path, I've always been involved in the business world. When I was a young person, when I was 9 years old, I said I wanted to be a CEO of my own corporation. I want to be that businesswoman. I always strive to be that. So I tried to get involved in activities that would lead me to that path. So I went to Redlands High School here in Redlands, California. I was involved in Future Business Leaders of America because I was on a mission. I am going to become a businesswoman and that CEO one day.
Yes.
So on that journey, so through my high school years, I got involved in leadership roles. When I went off to college in Alabama, I went to Oakwood College in Huntsville, Alabama, and I was heavily involved through my student years in college there in leadership positions, right? And that's where I really got fascinated with people, students. They used to call me the matchmaker at school.
Because you'd get people together.
Yeah, males and females. I was a campus mom, but the girls were hating on me because they thought I want their man, but I was secretly trying to hook them up.
Yeah.
Right? And so then I went on to start my administrative assistant career, and I was in Orlando for 12 years. I worked for a religious corporation there. So I worked for the top leadership team there. And that's where I started doing public speaking. That's where I started doing motivational seminars. That's where I started doing seminars and getting out to the different churches and organizations to share information.
So I think that's really interesting about, you started motivational speaking in college.
Right.
And now what were your topics? What were you talking about in motivating your classmates on?
Well, at the time, I was basically focused on relationships. Remember, I was a campus mom. I was a little matchmaker. Yes. So I was doing that. I also during my college years, I worked in the student employment office. So I integrated with students all the time and interacted with them. And then I started traveling for the college with the recruitment team. So that's really what got me involved in doing that thing and given the opportunity to speak to others and to large congregations, really schools, different events. That's where it all began.
Okay, and you were kind of talking about like going to college.
Going to college. What do you want to do when you grow up? What's your passion? You know, what are the things that you love? You know, do you really know yourself? Those are the types of things that I used to talk about during those years. Still talk about them today.
Like before that was all real popular. Like now, you know, today kind of those purpose, living a life you love, like those are all those are topics that are spoken about a lot.
Right.
So you were doing it before it was really in to like look inward.
Right.
Like at that time, I know when I went to college, it's like, okay, you go where your parents tell you to go.
Exactly.
You get, you know, the degree they tell you to get. And maybe that's what you end up with, maybe not.
Right.
That's
the thing that was different about me. First of all, I chose a college. I wanted to go to that college. My parents didn't want me to go to that college initially. But I was determined because I wanted to have a holistic experience going away to school. Because we were living out here and I wanted to associate with my people. I wanted to get to know the world and be a balance as a person. That's so important.
Yes.
So I wanted to start off that foundation right for me. When I thought about when I transitioned into corporate America, because I always saw myself as a businesswoman, so I was always thinking about that. Yeah.
And now, how did you transition from that and then move into like Loma Linda and HR and what you were doing there?
Well, I worked in Florida for 12 years, you know, in the religious corporate environment, and then I got an opportunity to come out here.
And how was that working in a religious corporate environment? I'm gonna cut you off.
That's okay. That's okay.
Certain things I'm like, oh, that's interesting.
Well, you know, I was in a leadership role because I was working for the number 2 man of the corporation. So you're front center, camera, action, always activities, people looking at you. And we also handled all the HR functions too in the role where I was administrative assistant.
Okay, for a church?
Right, for the yes. We were the headquarters for 105 churches at that time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You must have a lot of HR.
Yeah. Well, I love people. That's what just drew me to that world.
Yes.
So we handled all the HR dynamics in that role. Right.
And did anything like crazy come up?
Things always come up crazy.
Like crazier than in secular?
People are crazy.
Just in general.
Just in general. Okay.
Yeah, they are.
Right there.
They totally are.
Yeah, I don't care what profession you're in. I don't care what job you have. I don't care how much money you make. People still crazy.
But what was one of the craziest things? Because I want to get in there with you.
I'm trying to think what those craziest things was. When I think back of during those years, or when people would come into the church environment or come into the corporate office and start talking crazy, demanding things, and wanting to see people that were not on their radar, wasn't in their appointment book, or wasn't on their schedule. So their behavior was not nice.
Yes. Like it was.
There was no Jesus in that behavior.
Christian.
There was no Jesus in that behavior, okay?
You were like, you need Jesus.
Right, exactly. Help me help you now. Now. It's an emergency. So that's what it was like. And there were always challenges with that. And when we traveled around to the different churches, we were doing different workshops and different presentations. Once again, meeting people there, because I'm also a musician on the weekends. And so
I don't know that.
Okay, I'm a musician.
Okay.
I sing, I direct choirs, I play the organ, piano, keyboard, different instruments. So my college years, I was known for that. And I played and traveled for preachers during those years as well. So people got to know me from that environment. So when my boss inherited me or chose me, he didn't know all those pieces.
Yes.
Right? So he kind of bit off more than he could chew.
Or he got way more than he was planning.
Right. So when we would travel to different organizations, for anything like that. Yeah, that's not who I am.
Yeah, that's
I just give my talents that God gave me back to Him.
Yes.
I'm not trying to be showtime at the palace. No, I'm not. That's not me. Not that I wouldn't love to do something like that. I would love to do something like that, but I just never pursued that part.
Yes. So now you're singing, and now take me to getting to Loma Linda.
Sure.
And how long you were there.
Sure.
And what that was like.
Sure. So I went from Florida from being, administrative assistant there in the corporate office. So I came to California because I got an opportunity to be a business administrator for a church. So I did that. And in the role of business administrator, that's what opened up the door for me to get to Loma Linda University Medical Center. And so that's when I got into human resource management.
That is very cool. I love we were talking earlier, I had Truly at Loma Linda. And what was so special is, number one, he was born 5 weeks early. But they, the doctors or the nurses, I don't remember which one at that time, but they were like, do you want us to pray with you? And I was like, yes, please. Because I need Lord in here right now.
Right.
And I remember in the actual birthing room, there was a picture of Jesus on the wall, and I kept saying, Jesus, help me, Jesus.
There you go.
I love, you can't tell me anything about Loma Linda. I love Loma Linda.
Yeah, so I worked in that environment for 15 years. In
that
different roles.
Cool. And so now, moving on and kind of towing that line of being in HR to now, are you doing speaking 100%?
No,
or do you still...
actually, I'm an educator.
Yes.
I'm an educator. So I transitioned from Loma Linda into teaching. So I've been teaching in business administration and healthcare management since then. So it's been about 5 years I've been teaching, And of course I do speaking. Teaching, I love it. I love the classroom because I love students. I'm all about, I believe in the practical application. So in the classroom, I'm always challenging my students to be a critical thinker, number one, and then how are you going to apply these skills in the workplace? And I'm very adamant and very passionate about that because students go to school today, they get a degree, and they still don't even know what they want to do. You go into something you don't really like, you're not into your profession or your passion, and that's very important.
That's what you should do.
Yeah, and that's not what it is. And so I'm always asking those tough questions. I help them do different assessments to get to know themselves. I challenge them with a lot of interactive activities so they can really get to know who is that person inside their skin. So while you're learning that subject matter for whatever course that we're in for that module, I'm still incorporating those life soft skills in the classroom. Very important.
And now, do you think kids coming out of college today have it tougher than when we came out of college?
No. Are you kidding? They have it easier. And they do not take advantage of the opportunities that are presented to them. Why? I think it's mixed. Number one, they didn't get the foundation from their parents at home. And number two, they're not getting those soft skills being taught to them in the classroom by the average instructor because they don't really care. You know what I'm saying? They just want them to get my message, get my concepts, get my education thought for you today, and keep it pushing. But that's not who I am. I'm a crazy, out of the box instructor. My students look forward to coming to my class. They already know we're going to laugh and have a good time. But you're still going to learn, But I'm the type of person, you'll hear me say, today, my goal is to give you a checkup from the neck up. I love to traumatize people.
Yes. That's good. That's a good one.
Because you have to help people see themselves. You have to help people be willing to embrace something new because you're going to get caught off guard with something in society. That's what happens. That's the end of the day. You got to be ready. Right? Like Tiffany Haddish said, she ready. Right? But my goal is to get you ready when you come in my classroom.
Right. That's so good. And now, when you say that they have it easier, is it, do you think it's because of the internet, just information is so available?
For sure. Technology.
Yes.
Technology has totally spoiled bratted the kids. They're spoiled brats today. They want for nothing and they get everything at a moment's notice. Their attitude feels like I'm entitled. I sat in the classroom, pay me. I want to make my 6 figures now. I'm not staying with your company long term. I might be with you 2 years. But when the next opportunity comes knocking, boom, 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 I'm out. See ya. Sometimes they don't even give you a 2-week notice.
It's so different.
Yes, yeah. So those basic principles are just not inherent in the core of them. That's why it's so important to focus on those things, whatever course that you're teaching, to put something in there so there's a practical application for them when they get into the workplace.
And now, is there one thing that you would always suggest, and then I'll switch over into speaking because I'm super, I do that as well, and so I always love to talk to a peer about journey. But, is there a piece of advice that you'd give to someone who is trying to figure out, like, no matter what age they are, what their next goal is, what their next career will be, and if they're in their purpose,
passion and yes,
right.
I definitely would say to a person, do some test assessments to get to know yourself.
And so how do they get a test assessment?
Well, just go online. Like, for example, I always tell people to do one that's called Ocean, OCEAN. So you can just go on www.truity.com.
Okay.
And I'm
going to write it down after, and I'll add it to this
www.truity.com. And it's called the Big Five personality tests. And so what happens is when the people answer the questions, it will spell the word ocean, OCEAN, which tells them, how open are you? Are you conscientious? What do you feel about extroversion? Are you an introvert, extrovert? Are you agreeable? Can people tolerate you? And then are you crazy? You neurotic. Neurotic is the end.
So neurotic is a bad thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you don't want to have a high number in neuroticism. I'm praying for you if that's the case. So OCEAN. What's the beauty of that test is what it does is you get a percentage for each category, and then it compares you against society to see how you rate.
Oh.
Yeah. So you get to know a little bit more about yourself as that holistic type person.
Okay.
So I love that assessment. I always have people do that. Even when I have clients from in my business, I always ask them to do that test because it helps me to get to know them a little better. I really need to know about that N factor. Yeah. How high is that? And so then Ocean's one. Okay. Another one that's a good one to get to know yourself is, what are your 5 top strengths? And Gallup has a test assessment that's very expensive, but there are other ones online that are free. I'm always emphasizing free.
Okay.
And find out your 5 top strengths. For me, my 5 top strengths, I'm strategic is number 1. So I'm strategic about everything. I told my students, even when I'm acting a fool in the classroom, I'm still being strategic.
And that's like you're thinking steps out of what's currently happening right there.
Correct. So I'm strategic, I'm a learner, I'm futuristic, I'm woo, and then of course I'm an activator. So they have different definitions for what those mean. Okay. In my case, strategic, I'm always thinking way in the future. You're not going to catch me off guard because I already planned for the left hand, not knowing what the right hand. I'm going to know what's in that right hand. That's what strategic's being all about, right? I'm a learner. I love to learn. I love to learn. And I'm open-minded. Some people are just fixed. They don't like to learn. If you share some content with them, they stay right here. They're so opinionated. They can't well, what if? Well, what if? That's not even on their radar, right? So that's important to have an open mindset, to be a learner. To be an activator, of course, you're always, inspiring and helping people to change and giving them activities to help get that done. I'm futuristic. I think long term, and then, of course, I'm woo. When you walk in the room and you change it. Yeah. That's the gift of influence.
That's all woo. I see the woo right now working in its fabulousness. That's really
So that's
good.
what that's about. So to know your 5 top strengths is good as a test assessment to get to know you. And then I think the biggest one is really getting to understand your personality and your temperament. Some people are very structured. Some people are very technical. Some people are action-oriented. Some people are relationship, STAR. And that's what it stands for, STAR. And so which one are you? In relationship to the personalities, are you a life of the party, sanguine? Woo, that's who I am. Are you choleric? Get that job done. I'm not here to play with you. I'm gonna need you to get your work done.
Yeah. Woo, that's me.
That's choleric. that's choleric. No, but you got sanguine in you too.
Yeah, I got.
But you got to smile.
Yeah. I gotta love it.
Now, if you weren't smiling, I'm saying, oh yeah, she's really choleric.
Yeah.
Then I'm phlegmatic. Can we just all get along? You got that. You just oozing that. Phlegmatic. Can we just all get along because they believe in relationships?
Yeah, I'm the peacemaker.
Yes, exactly. And then the next one is melancholic. I want to do it right. now, but do it right the first time. Yeah. So when you mix that up and understand who you are as far as star with your personalities, it kind of gets to help you get to know yourself. And it's important to know yourself because when you walk into that potential job or even networking, it's important to be able to sell yourself in, what's that elevator speech? Who are you?
Yes.
Right? Because it's just a handshake and it's over.
Yes.
Because just in a handshake, somebody's just like,
yeah.
I'm not doing business with that person.
Yes.
Right? Oh, yes. Yeah.
I'm like, I think you used to have like 9 or 10 seconds to make an impression, and now it's like 3 to 5. Like, we just keep going shorter and shorter.
4 to 10. I tell my students it's about, because the 4 to 10 seconds has to do with your sensory memory. So your brain says, oh, she's beautiful. Oh, he's handsome. So now the person has the potential to elevate to your short-term memory. You've gone from sensory, to short-term, which is 2 minutes. See, still short time frame. Yeah. And we don't think about our brain. Our brain can only capture 5 pieces of information in those 2 minutes. So if somebody's talking you to death in 2 minutes, you already tuned them out. In this ear, one out the other. But let's say what they had to say in those 2 minutes really impressed you. Oh my goodness. So now you got the sensory memory going on. Right? Then we got the 2 minutes. Oh, good information. Okay, now the person qualifies. I said qualifies and is eligible to potentially be in your long-term memory. Now, if it goes to your long-term memory, got to be at least 15 minutes. What time frame? 15 minutes. Okay.
They already lost me.
That's right. So some people, you have the power of choice to say whether I want that person to be my long-term memory, right? You meet somebody, and let's say they pass your sensory, they pass your 2 minutes, but you're like, maybe not. I made the wrong decision, right? So you can look at your watch and be strategic and say, oh, I need to make sure this person doesn't get in my long-term memory.
They got 14 minutes.
Isn't that powerful, though?
That is.
You do the sensory, short, and long-term. And so that says a lot about a person when you're thinking about the future and relationships, because they're going to be way back up in here at night when you think you see your subconscious brain, all of a sudden, what? When you didn't want to remember something you should have cut off, and you didn't cut it off, and now you're stuck.
That's so funny. That explains a lot about dating.
Yes, it does. There you go.
That quick
That's
analogy. Right. And I'm like, oh, okay, I get it. I get how my husband got me.
Right?
He took me salsa dancing. Knew it was over.
Like went into your long-term memory.
Yes.
So it was a memorable moment that you'll never forget.
Yes.
So it's embedded.
I remember what I had on.
You remember? See, because it's in your subconscious mind. It's not in your conscious, it's in your subconscious. So it can't be erased. That's deep, huh?
That's very deep. Okay. Melinda's got so much very cool, deep information. We're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, we're going to talk about kind of that transition to speaker, professor. I love to kind of get into other speakers' brains about what motivates them and what keeps them going. So please stay tuned. We will be right back. How's it going? I got to ask you about TED too.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Okay, when it comes back, I'm going to ask you about that. Because that always oh, all the information I can get. I can't hold on to all of it, but what I can get. Let me make sure. Okay. Well, welcome back to our Hidden Treasure Moments podcast. Again, I am Kara Adams, and I'm here with the beautiful, amazing, spirited, woo!
Woo! Slap me high five.
Yeah, woo!
Let's do it.
And we are talking about just really how people relate to each other, the 15 minutes to get someone stuck in your head. And what I'm also interested in talking about is, what it looks like to be a speaker and what motivates other speakers to do what they do. And when we went off on the break, I was like, okay, don't let me forget to talk about your TEDx talk for Riverside.
Right. Correct.
So that's what we'll start with, because I totally am just it just really entertains me. It's just not entertains, but interests me.
Right.
So if you could say a little bit
Sure.
about TEDx Riverside,
Sure.
how that all went, and how it came about.
Oh, sure. How it came about was I have a friend that worked for Southern California Edison. He was a region manager. And a lot of leaders in the city of Riverside had a leadership project that they needed to do. So they decided to do a TEDx Riverside.
Oh.
That's how this whole thing came about. So I was chosen by Southern California Edison to be a speaker for the TEDx Riverside. So I went to a lot of hoops to go through all the, am I worthy to speak
Yes.
on the stage?
I know the feeling.
Yes,
I know the feeling.
but I mean, meaning that the speaker bureau of their committee had certain criteria that they were looking for that speaker and whatnot. And of course, I don't fit the norm. I'm just totally out of the box, right? But I understand the parameters. I know what to do. I know how to carry myself. I know how to present myself.
When you say you don't fit the norm, like what does that mean?
Because I'm very creative. I'm very assertive. I'm very high energy. They're not used to that. That was the biggest one. Their high energy was off the chart, and they're like, "Oh my God,
What do I do that?
yeah, right, exactly." So it was
Making me nervous.
It was hilarious, and I never forget when I went to. They used to have dress rehearsals where the speakers were supposed to get together and practice their speeches and basically get their time frames down.
How many speakers were there?
There were 20.
Oh my God.
The day I did the TEDx Riverside, there were 20 speakers, and it was a paid event that people paid for in the community. They brought their students, whatever.
Oh wow.
They had a VIP luncheon for those that paid the larger amount of money. It was held at the Fox Theater in Riverside.
When was this?
This was in October of 2014.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, I was really excited to do it. And it was comedy because I was speaker number 2. You know, yeah. So I didn't know at the time that your ranking as speaker meant how much they believed in what the product you were going to give out to the audience. And the first person that was before me was actually a vocalist, but she flopped. Everything that could happen to a speaker happened bad for her that day. She was a nervous wreck. Her system wasn't working, and she was a disaster. And then I came up right behind her and woo!
She set you up. She was like, "Okay, Melinda,
Yeah, and
you're
everybody,
gonna kill it now."
they're traumatized, and people were traumatized. I mean, you pay that
Yeah.
money, and then this happens. This is the first person you bring out on the stage, and this happens. You know, so they were looking at me like, "What's gonna happen with you?" You know, but I was like, "I got this."
Yeah. You were like, "Don't worry."
Yeah. So my topic was giving my energy back, but I was talking about life. I was talking about life, how do you live in one of the quadrants? Some people check into the trauma unit, they live in crisis. Some people in a world of deception, they always let people steal their time. Some people waste time. But when you're focused, that's the quadrant you want to be in. So I gave them 2 main messages: not to let anyone steal your joy, because I believe in that. That's one of my mantras. I will not let anyone steal my joy today or ever. That's the mantra I gave them from the TEDx. And the second one I gave them was brighten the corner where you are. Brighten the corner where you are. Because sometimes in the workplace, you have nasty bosses.
Yes.
You have mean coworkers, all of those kinds of things. And you have to be mindful about, how can I still keep this and maintain my positivity and still be the best that I can be every day, making sure I'm leaving a legacy in the workplace, because it's a one-time shot.
That's really good, because sometimes you don't think about it. Like when you're in an environment that is unhealthy or toxic, and like you go home and you take some of that with you, and then it takes you a minute to get it out of your system, if you even do, because you're with them 8 hours. And you might be with your family 3 or 4, because you're getting dinner ready, you're getting them to sleep, you're going to bed. And so that's really important, to keep your joy. Don't let anyone take it. And then keep your happiness in your own little box.
And when I say that second one, brighten the corner where you are, is to be your best every day. Some people come to work and it's Monday, and so they're coming in with that, I'm tired. I'm like, how could you be tired? It's just Monday. What happened? Marvelous Monday. How about that? Terrific Tuesday. Yay. Wonderful Wednesday. Tremendous Thursday. Fantastic Friday. Woo!
See, I need you in a bottle.
And then the people, I tell them, if you work in healthcare, then you work on the weekend. So Saturday is scintillating Saturday, and Sunday is successful Sunday. See? So every day is a good day. It's that mindset that you establish.
See, and I see myself as being, you know, of the higher energy.
Right.
And, you know, I relate well to people, but you're like on a whole nother level. Like, I should have took my vitamins before I came in. I'm like, oh, let me keep up with Melinda. Oh my gosh. So I can totally see when they're booking, like, you know, how is this possible that this beautiful woman can stay up so much? But it's like, it's just natural.
That's who I am.
Who you
I
are.
tell people, God gave it to me. I don't know what to tell you. God gave it to me.
Yes. Yes.
But that's just who I am every day. My daughters be like, Mom,
can't take it today.
we're not awake, Mom. We're not. That's what they used to tell me when they were younger. Mom, no, get out.
Yeah.
You know, tell me, hey, how you doing? No, Mom, we're not.
Can't do it today.
No.
That is too funny. Now, how many daughters?
I have two daughters.
And how old are they?
They're now 31 and 26. They're 5 years apart. They both are in Sacramento. My older daughter's a director at Sac State. She got her master's in higher education leadership. And my younger daughter's at Sac State as well. Yeah. So she's on a
See,
mission.
they took on some of that.
And that's
mommy
funny
stuff.
because all the stuff that they said, Mom, we're not going to be like you. We're not going to be a seminar presenter. We're not going to be talking to people. We're not going to, and guess what they're doing? They're all in it.
doing the same thing. So you're like, yeah, now what?
Wasn't it right? And what I would do is when they were younger, when they were high school years and different things, when they would get involved, I wouldn't tell them what I did. I would wait till they were all in it and then tell them, oh, by the way, you know, when I was in, I did that back in the day when I would remind them and tell them, yeah. So, yeah.
You're like, the apple did not fall far from the tree, baby. That is too cute. And now, you know, if you would tell us a little bit about, you know, what motivates you, what inspires you. A lot of speakers that I have met kind of along my journey, something has happened, whether it be an illness or whether it be, you know, a loss, something
Right.
kind of pushed them from just experiencing life to truly living life to its fullest. And has anything like that ever happened for you?
Well, I'm very passionate about people. That's my number one premise. And I love to see people grow. And I feel that the gifts, God has blessed me with a lot of gifts, a lot of talents. And so people look at me like, how does one person have all those things? You know, they don't understand it. But then also too, in 2013, when my older daughter was graduating with her master's degree at Sac State, I actually had a mild heart attack in the arena.
While she was graduating.
So I didn't even see her graduate.
Wow.
I went to walk around to the other side of the arena to be closer because the graduates were getting ready to come in. And it was right then when I had a mild heart attack. I became disoriented. I don't know what was going on, but that's what had happened to me.
And did you feel anything? Because I was just at the Women's Red Dress event, which is all about heart care and taking care of yourself, and that women have just our rate of heart disease is increasing. And so they talked about some of the things you might be feeling leading up to it.
I had nothing. I had no
that?
symptoms. I had nothing. But I found out after the fact that I was highly stressed. So sometimes you think, because I was a single mom for 21 years with my daughters. So you're thinking you're handling, you're surviving, you're thriving, but you're doing too much. Right. So I'm more proactive as far as with my self-care per se. I'm very more proactive with my mindset about things, and I'm very careful who I spend my time with.
And now do you see that you are taking time out for yourself to take care of yourself and make sure that you are as healthy as you can be?
I'm being more proactive with that. I'm, you know, change some things with my eating habits, and I'm walking, and I'm doing those things to, you know, keep myself, you know, looking good. Hello.
Yes.
And living a long time. It's all about that longevity.
Yeah. Yes. That's what we all want nowadays. But I think that's really interesting because, you know, have you ever experienced when you're out speaking in front of a group? Like I recognize I'm giving a lot. And so when I'm done speaking, when I'm done doing whatever, it's like I lose that energy, and it takes me a while to like gas myself back up and get to where I need to be.
Oh, really?
Do you ever? I'm like,
I don't know what that is. You just I'm sitting there looking at you. What? What are you talking about?
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, that's who I am. That's just who I am.
Oh, it's real. I gotta figure that piece out because I'll go speak or I'll go do something, and maybe it's 30 minutes, maybe it's an hour.
Yes.
But like I know it takes me probably an hour to 2 hours to like
recover.
Yes. And I don't know if maybe I need to work out
No, it's it's actually part of your temperament. So there's a piece of you that's still there's a piece of you that's melancholic. That's the melancholic side of you. So some people love people and can thrive with people. I'm one of those kind of people. I get energy from people.
Oh, and I'm the opposite.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying.
It zaps me for a while.
Exactly. So that's what that's the melancholic in your personality.
Okay.
So you have to.
That's interesting.
Yeah, that's what it's personality. It's a personality trait. So what happens is you have to recover. You need your space. You need your quiet. You need your solace. That's what that is. It's a personality trait.
Yes. I went and did, like, this week has been crazy because I'm doing an audio book, which is so hard.
Yeah.
I had no idea it was that hard. But then I had a couple, I taped a podcast episode. And so yesterday I just like hit a wall and I told my husband, Troy, I'm like, babe, I just need an hour or two. I need to go. I need to be by myself. I need to take a nap.
Right.
And then I'll be good.
Right.
But I just need a minute because I just feel so drained. That is really interesting.
See, that's what personality trait. Yeah, a piece of you is melancholic. That's what that is. That's what that. And melancholic people, you can basically tell who a melancholic person is because that person tends to be reserved and quiet, oriented. Even when you first meet them, that's their aura. Some people have high melancholic, so yours is very, very low. But it's still there. Yeah.
Yes, and it's funny because I'm attracted to very spirited people.
Right, and that's why they say opposites attract. That's the reason why.
Because my husband.
Right.
Like we have the go-kart track, and so he would do on Thursdays we had drift night. And he'd be the announcer, and I'd be like, "Oh, see, look at him doing his thing."
Right.
But it's like I liked that we were opposite because I was always kind of the quiet one.
Right.
He'd make fun of me. I'd be in the back like, "No."
Right.
And now it's like me getting into this role. It's like I just have to exercise that part of my being a little bit.
Correct. So you just have to get more comfortable with yourself. That's what that is. And being confident, because that's a new part of you that you're embracing. So it's a shock to your own system.
Yes.
Yes. So you have to.
Yes. And like for me, like getting on the platform, being a speaker, I never in a million years saw myself doing any of this.
Right.
The book, the podcast, speaking, none of it. And for me, that experience was I was diagnosed with cancer, and I recognized I was living somebody else's life. That, I was pleasing everybody else but myself.
Right.
And that even the career that I had chosen, I was doing it, I was in marketing for 15 years, and I love it, but I was climbing a ladder that wasn't mine to climb.
Correct.
And so it's like, because I was good at it, I just kept going up.
Right.
And I was like, oh, you're going to pay me to do this? Okay, I'm going to keep going up.
Right, so that was but the money was your motivator at that moment in time.
Yes.
But now you're motivating yourself. So now you're looking at your intrinsic motivation. What makes me happy? What makes me content? I'm free in my mind when I have intrinsic motivation. I'm going to be talking about that today. I'm doing a public speaking workshop today. That's one of the things I'm going to be talking about. So you have to know how you are driven, what motivates you. So it has to be inside. When it's inside of you, then nobody controls you. Ooh, that's deep right there.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And that's what it's about. So many of us are controlled by extrinsic factors. They're all outside of ourselves. But we don't give ourselves those mental messages. We don't do those physical body incantations so that we get inside of ourselves and really believe in ourselves and assert ourselves. See, all that's part of intrinsic motivation.
Yeah, have you written a book?
On that mission. I did. I was starting a book project with Les Brown, the motivational speaker.
Yes.
And Jack Hansen. Mark Hansen.
Yes.
And Jack Canfield.
Okay.
So we were in a book project together, but then something with the publishing company fell through. So I did write it. There were 20 of us. We all wrote a chapter for this book. The book is called Mastering the Art of Success. And I wrote the chapter, Success is a State of Mind. So what I've decided is I'm just going to go take my chapter and get that book and keep it pushing.
Oh, I can see it. I can see it already because I think that's really important for people to recognize because when I was being pushed externally,
Externally, right now, in this context, yes. Externally, yes.
When that was happening, I was probably the most depressed I'd ever been. But like on paper in my life, I looked the most successful.
Correct.
But I had no passion.
Right.
You know, I was just checking off boxes.
Right.
And now I'm working 3 times as hard.
Right.
But I love my life.
Right.
Like I feel so good to be in my own shoes.
Correct.
To be able to be transparent, to be able to have conversations and not worry about trying to please
exactly
or say what the other person wants me to say, but still being aware of feelings and you know being
See, that's a challenge too, and this is why also too, as a motivational speaker, you have some people that are in the business to get that money, right? They're not very passionate about their audience and the people they're talking to because they've learned how to can some speeches. I'm not that person, and I refuse to be that person. And those kind of people actually irritate me because I feel like you're fake.
Yes.
You're not genuine. You're not authentic. You know, because if you're standing up as a motivational speaker, the power of the message that you're delivering is to be able to transform the people, the lives of the audience that's in your presence. That's what it's about. If you're not doing that, get off the stage.
Yeah. And it's so funny. I was at the Ultimate Women's Expo in Anaheim, and I was like, okay, I was so worried. I'd got my speaking coach, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to work on this. And, we practiced, what I was going to do, when I was going to deliver, when I was going to do things that seated the audience so that they'd be interested in my book.
Yeah.
I got up there. I didn't say any of that stuff.
Good for you. Good for you. Good for you. Congratulations.
And it was funny, I told Troy, and he is of the same belief as you are. And he's like, Kara, you're like, I pray before I go on stage.
Right, exactly.
And I say, God, please let me say whatever the audience needs to hear.
Right.
And so if that's in my plan, great. If it's not in my plan, then I'm okay with that too.
There you go.
And I see that, I do notice that. I watch the Brene Browns and I watch kind of all the big time. I like watching female motivational speakers.
Yes.
And I try to take a little bit, but recognize that I'm still myself, and that when I speak, it's not going to have that same flow. That if somebody is drawn to me, they're going to be naturally drawn to me. There is no voodoo, there's no magic that I'm going to do that either they like my message or they don't. We all have that same type of passion or that we want that same outcome, which is joy and people living a purpose-driven life. And somebody's going to hear it different from me than they will someone else.
And guess what? I don't watch female motivational speakers because it's not about them. It's about the people that God's going to open the door for me to speak to, and He will give me the words to say and give me whatever it is, the tools that I need to do that. The person that I did watch was Les Brown because I use him in my classroom with my students. There's one particular one that he did that's on YouTube. You can find it. It's called "You Gotta Be Hungry." You got to be hungry. And he tells a story about how he got into broadcasting, and so it's a funny story. So whatever it is that you want, if you want it bad enough, Eric Thomas, who's also a motivational speaker, says that. How bad do you want it? And so based on that, you can push yourself and motivate yourself to the next level to keep striving for that goal that you set for yourself. It's not a goal that anybody gave you. It's a goal you've set for yourself.
Yeah.
That's an individual thing.
Oh, I get it. And it's funny because I know what it feels like to be so uncomfortable that you think you're going to die. And so, I use that as a judge in my life now. I think, okay, Kara, if you're comfortable, you're not working hard enough. And even when I did, set up the podcast and all that, when I get that little inkling, ooh, I don't know if I want to do it today, or I don't know if I want to drive to LA, and because I tape at LA and I tape in Riverside. And I think as soon as I think that, okay, something powerful is going to happen.
Right.
I need to go because something is powerful.
Right.
And I'm always kind of judging my uncomfortableness. If If I'm too comfortable, then I'm not hungry enough. That hunger, there's a pain, there's an agony, there's a need when you're hungry.
Yes.
And so that's what I think, what some of the young people, some of the people who are like, I've been trying to do this forever and nothing is happening. It's that same are you eating or are you not?
Right.
If you're not eating, you're gonna make it happen.
Yes, it is.
Because you're hungry.
Right.
And so I love that what you just said. And I find that I love listening to motivational speakers. I love listening to Oprah and her Sunday talks. And for me, it's just more food.
It's food for your soul.
It's food.
Right. But that's because you know why? Also, too, that's your woosah moment.
Yeah.
That's when you finally decided to take some time for you. So that's why you just take it all in. You soak it in and you're a sponge. You're a sponge. And you're absorbing all that information. Yeah. And I do have my moments, but what I do is I'm in my car a lot.
Yes.
So Audible's my best friend.
I love Audible. I love it. I just got into it this year.
Oh my goodness.
Love
awesome.
Audible.
Yes.
I'm constant. I'm like, the radio, they're not paying me to listen to them.
Right.
I need to get something that's going to feed me.
Exactly.
And not tell me I'm a hoe and a whatever.
Right.
And what I need to do and what I need to buy in order for people to like me. So I try anytime I'm in the car to listen to something that's going to pick me up.
Yeah.
And
So,
motivate me.
it just keeps your brain moving, thriving, growing. I love to learn. Yeah. So I like the crazy people. I got Kevin Hart's book. Yeah. I got Taraji's book.
Oh, how's Kevin Hart?
He's hilarious.
Oh.
But I forgot he said, I can't explain. I forgot what the title is. I can't. Something like I can't tell you about it. Some kind of crazy title, something like that.
Yeah.
And then I have Taraji's book, and then I got Gabrielle Union's book, We Need More Wine. I mean, so I do those just to keep me tapped into society and reality. But they have good points, of course, to say. Yeah. And then, of course, I have the Master's book. I mean, I'm all heavily into John Maxwell, and I know a friend of his, so that's why I'm heavily into John Maxwell, because I'm very passionate about leadership, very passionate about leadership. So people in corporate America, there's managers, I got that job title, but they look at
care less
about their people on their that they spend time with, versus that leader that empowers their teammates and helps them to grow.
Yes. Oh, I love it. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, I want to talk about who does the coach go to? When you're the one constantly giving, constantly feeding, I know the books, and, but are there people that you turn to help you get to the next level? And then, what do you treasure? Those are the next topics and the things that we're going to talk about when we come back. So please stay tuned. That's good. That's good stuff. That is good stuff. That is funny. Yeah, you're in your wheelhouse. That's good.
Yeah, but I want to do this full time. I just want to,
That's me.
That's what I want. I want to do this full time and be comfortable financially, so I can just totally free and do my passion. So that's my prayer to God. Lord, open up the doors, help me to get free, because I want to travel and help to transform the lives. So many people in bondage.
Yes.
They really are.
Yes.
It's the bondage of the mind. That's what it is. So they can't even progress in their life, and everyone's living that paycheck to paycheck syndrome. You know what I'm saying? So you're miserable. You just got to pay bills, and that's not fun.
Yeah. Like Troy and I, we moved into an RV. We live tiny, and so he's able to cover everything. And I have unemployment and some of that, but I can't wait until this. Yeah, I think that's what makes me hungry.
Yes.
It's because I can't wait for this to actually pay so that we can make a living off of it.
Right, there you go.
And I know that if I just have to keep going.
Right.
And as long as I keep going, I keep being hungry.
Until you're hungry. Yeah.
Oh,
that's
girl.
Good. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll go back.
You're on the right path.
Thank you. Because sometimes you
I get it.
Sometimes you're like, ooh, this is hard.
Right.
But then when I say that, I'm like, okay, I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. It's supposed to be hard. So that's good.
Because guess what? You get to be free in your spirit. You get to be you. You don't have nobody telling you what to do. It's whatever shot you did at the call. And if you did, something else. Oh, well, let's keep it pushing.
Yeah. Oh, I love my life.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
I'm blessed.
That's it.
Yes. Okay, we'll go back. say some of this good stuff for the camera. Welcome back to our Hidden Treasure Moments podcast. Again, I am Kara Adams, and this is the beautiful Melinda. And when we left off, we were talking about who does the speaker go to? Who does the motivational speaker go to get motivation? Like, do you have a coach? Is there somebody who helps keep you grounded?
Actually, I don't have a person. Jesus.
Yeah.
Jesus is my grounding source. I tell you that, and I mean that with all sincerity, because he is the source of everything that's in me. And I honestly believe that all the gifts he's blessed me with are to bless other people. And so I keep thinking about that. That's what I stay focused on. You know, when I'm thinking about things, or maybe I'm challenged by a situation because I'm about to embark on something else to another level, you know, I'm on my knees. Jesus, right? And there are times when I just holler and scream, Jesus, you knew this would happen. Someone needs you to fix that. I say it out loud just like that. Let's be clear. Me and Jesus have that kind of relationship where I holler and scream, Jesus, I'm going to need you to fix this now. Right now, in the name of Jesus. Or if somebody's not acting right, I rebuke Satan in the name of Jesus, okay? So whatever it is, you know, it's that you cannot interrupt my connection with Jesus because I'm on a mission. And that's what I'm always saying. That's what my mantra is. I'm on a mission. You just don't know what my mission is at that moment in time. Let's be clear.
Yes. Yeah, that is so funny. I always say, God made me a messenger. And that is what is in my heart. That's what I'm passionate about. You might not like the message, but God made me a messenger.
Help me. I tell my students, help me help you. Help me help you. And that's the same thing with people. There are people that'll, because I'm on LinkedIn, right? And so there are people that'll send me a message on LinkedIn. So one time I had a potential client. This is how you messaged me. Put me on your calendar. That was it. He just said, put me on your calendar. I didn't know him from Adam's House Cat, never seen him before.
You said Adam's House
Right
Cat?
now.
I've never heard of it.
I say it all the time. I just laughing. And he said, put me on your calendar. And I was like, who is this? What do you want? So I said, I'm going to meet you at a Starbucks because I don't know you. You could be a stalker. I mean, you have to cover my bases. And he really wanted me to put him on his calendar because he wanted to transition in his career into the world of HR. That's what he wanted to do. And he was a distribution manager. So he was in manufacturing and everything. A total off track from HR.
Right.
What made you think about HR? What made you think that you were the fit for HR and all that? So we met for a couple of times and we talked about it. He really had a passion for people. He really did. You know, and so he did eventually transition into HR, but that was just hilarious the way he sent me that message. Put me on your calendar. And
like, I'm ready.
Yeah, there's some people that come to me that way, or they're shifting in their lives, and so I serve as their coach to help guide them into that transition. Or some people sometimes, even with a simple interview, when they want to get that job, that's their dream job, I've coached individuals to help them to land that job, to get them ready for what does that look like? What does the interview look like? What does the job look like? Have you thought about some of these things? You probably haven't thought about these things, huh? How are you going to deal with these things when you get that job? How are you going to deal with the crazy people? You ready? You know, so you have to ask those tough questions to get that person ready for the journey that they haven't thought about. Because it's a journey.
Yes. Well, tell us a little bit more about your business. Like, what is it called? How do people find you?
Oh, sure. It's Make Success a Mindset, which is the initials of my name, MSM.
Oh.
Make Success a Mindset.
Make Success a Mindset.
Yeah.
That's very cool.
Yeah, so I'm on LinkedIn, or you can msmmelinda@gmail.com. That's my email. And then 951-966-7655 is my cell number.
Yeah.
So you have no excuse.
Yeah.
You can Google me, Melinda Sue Muganza, and you will see a lot out there. This is a crazy woman here. Look me up and see what you find.
That's good stuff.
But I just believe in the transformation of lives. And also, too, what I really strive for, too, with Make Success a Mindset is to help other individuals that I know that are authentic, that are doing a good work to help others. I'm happy to be a referral for them as well. Yes, I'm a referral source as well.
Oh, that's
to
very
good
cool.
people.
Yes, yes. And who are doing it for the right reason.
Exactly. That's the message.
Absolutely. I think that's very cool. Well, we're going to start to wrap up.
Yes.
Tell me a little bit and tell the viewers a little bit about what you treasure and what you're passionate about.
I treasure my daughters. I really treasure my daughters. I think about their lives. You know, it's comedy. My older daughter is going into the world. She's pursuing philanthropic endeavors, and she's out doing motivational speaking. She's on that path now. She's actually in school working on her MBA while she's in her directorship job, and that's comedy to me because never in a million years would she pursue that. And my younger daughter, I'm just saying the activities that they do are just really into serving the public. You know, they're very good praise dancers, you know, and they both sing. You know, so they're doing those things. So I treasure that. Of course, I recently got married about a little over a year ago.
Oh, you're newlywed.
Yeah, so I treasure the minister that God blessed me with, and he helps to keep me grounded. You know, and so I treasure him, and I want to make sure that I'm a blessing to him as he continues to bless me. So I treasure that. But I'm very more focused now on treasuring time. Time. So because I teach college in the mornings from 7:45 to 12:45, and then in the evenings from 5:45 to 10:45 p.m. That's Monday through Thursday.
Oh, you're teaching.
I teach college
in the morning
and in the evening.
Yeah,
That's 10 hours a day alone just of instruction. So that's why I treasure my afternoon time between the teaching time. I'm running out of Platt College, you know, to get to do me, to make sure I spend time with Babe, to get my things done, to make sure I exercise. I'm usually exercising in the morning before I even go to school, so I wouldn't get it in if I didn't. Those kinds of things, you know. So I'm more focused on that, and how more so too, I want to finish writing my book. I want to get that done. I want to be more of a blessing to my community fellows. And that's what my mindset's all about now.
Oh, that is so beautiful. It's so nice to, you know, I've met you before, but it's so nice to have you come in and to really interact and to get into your brain that goes super fast and super bubbly. And it just, you know, it just inspires me, you know, as one speaker, one motivational speaker to another, like what you're doing and your words and your commitment to the community. It's inspiring.
Thank you. Thank you
so
for having me. Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Exciting.
Yes, we have a mutual friend named Jana.
Yes,
Hey,
Jana. Her move now.
Yes. And so, you know, I just want to thank her for introducing us, and this has been really amazing.
Thank you, yes.
For all of the viewers, this is the beautiful Melinda. I'm going to put all of her information on the post so that you can find her. You don't have to, you just click on the link and it'll be super easy. Thank you for watching. Again, we're here every Thursday from 10:30 to 11:30. And thank you for just being a support to the movement. And I will see you soon. Just take care of yourself and love each other. Until we meet again,